These are the best USB mics you can get right now. In this video, I'm going to review the best mics for podcasting, video, or any content creation. We're going to cover some of the newer mics like the Shure MV6, compare them to some of my previous favorites, give you the best option for budget mic, best sound, and maybe show you some mics you haven't heard of yet. So these are all the mics I'm going to be covering today. There'll also be chapters for each mic, so if you want to jump to a specific model, you can click those down here in the timeline. And when I'm playing audio from that microphone, I won't apply any EQ, compressor, or any effects. I'm only adjusting for volume to keep them all the same, but what you're hearing in this video is going to be the raw sound from each mic. Also, mics from Rode and Shure actually have apps that you can download to make them sound different, change the tonality, but I won't be using any of those processing or effects. This is just the raw sound from each microphone. Let's start with one of the newest entries, which is the Shure MV6. It actually comes with this mic stand in the box and a cable. This is a dynamic microphone. It has a capacitive mute button here at the top, which is pretty nice. Only a USB-C connection, no XLR, but you can connect headphones, so you can use this as your monitor to hear your own voice or hear remote guests if you're using this with something like Riverside. It's a dynamic microphone, and you can see the capsule is actually pretty far down, and that actually helps it reduce some of the plosives like P's and B's. So the sound you're hearing right now is directly from the Shure MV6. I actually find that its internals help reject a lot of noise, adjusting it maybe while you're live streaming. And if you use it with the Shure software, they have what they call a digital popper stopper, but I actually found the hardware itself does a pretty good job of rejecting those kinds of sounds, and this also sounds really good. Shure also says it has voice isolation and auto leveling technology. Again, you'll have to use it with the Shure app, but if you just want to use it directly, which you can also connect this to your iPhone or iPad, this is a great mic. It's also right in the mid-range of these USB mics I'll be talking about. It comes in at $150, does come with the stand and the USB-C cable, and again, overall sound, I think this is very good. Also, with every microphone, I'm going to test its noise rejection. So if you don't have a kind recording environment, or maybe you have some background noise usually, this is how well each microphone is going to do at rejecting that sound coming from the back. I have two HomePods here playing some white noise like from a cafe. This is just what it sounds like with some background noise directly into the mic. So that's the Shure MV6. Oh, and by the way, make sure to stay to the end of this video because I'm going to rank my favorites overall. Best for travel, best budget microphone, and best overall. All right, for our second test, this is the Rode PodMic. Now there's several versions of this you can get online. Some are XLR only, but this is both the USB-C version and XLR. Has a gain adjustment right here and a headphone jack where you can monitor your own voice here. This is also a dynamic microphone, and the sound you're hearing right now is coming from the Rode PodMic. It also does pretty good at rejecting some noise when you're trying to adjust the mic, and it also comes with this windscreen. Now, I typically like using a windscreen to reduce some of those P's and B's, and so here's what it sounds like now with that windscreen on it. Again, I think this has a great sound. If you're going to be looking for a podcast mic and you want the flexibility of XLR and USB-C, I think this is a great option. Again, you can adjust some of the sound using the Rode app on your computer. You can also plug this directly into an iPhone, iPad, or Android device with that USB-C cable. And I've turned on the background cafe noise so you can hear what it sounds like rejecting the noise from behind the microphone. Again, I think it does a pretty good job. This is without any noise removal or voice isolation effects. The PodMic, solid choice. Now, as I'm testing these microphones, you'll notice I'm keeping them the same distance from my mouth, which is about a fist length distance. I have a whole video talking about mic techniques and getting the best sound from any mic. I'll link that video above. But if you're going to be putting this mic on your desk because you're going to be streaming, if I hold the microphone this far away, it's going to pick up more room noise or background noise, and this is a significantly different sound. And just to give you an idea, here's the Shure MV6 when it's sitting on my desk and not close to my mouth. So overall, I would recommend getting a mic arm to get these microphones closer to your mouth rather than sitting on the desk, and I'll leave a couple options down in the video description for mic arms like that. Now back on the Rode PodMic, this comes in at $200, so $50 more than the Shure MV6, but you do get that additional XLR connection, unlike the MV6, so this will give you flexibility if you want to use it as a USB mic when you're traveling or just starting out, and then if you add an audio interface later for multiple guests, then you can use that XLR connection. All right, now let's go to one of my favorite budget options. This is the Audio-Technica ATR2100X. This microphone is still one of my favorites after several years. It's actually the cheapest I'm going to talk about here in this video, coming in at just $50. That's right, $50. It comes with a little stand. It's pretty cheap, and I've actually broken a few, so you'll still probably want to get a standalone desk or mic arm, but it does come with the cables in the box. As you can see, it's USB-C, XLR, and it has the headphone jack right there. And not to spoil the ending, but when it comes to value, I think the 2100X is one of the best options. Great sound. I typically use it with a windscreen like this. That helps cut down on some of the mouth sounds and plosives like P's and B's, but you get a great sound for a really inexpensive price. Now, if I turn on that background cafe noise, it is going to pick up a little more of that. It's more sensitive than, say, the Rode PodMic or Shure MV6. So if you're recording in a noisy environment, you might have to do something like voice isolation or noise removal. But again, overall, this is just a great sounding microphone. Now, staying with the budget microphones, I also have to mention the Samson Q2U. It's very similar to the ATR2100X, has the XLR connection, headphone jack, but my least favorite thing about this microphone is it uses the mini USB connection. You can see the USB connection right there. I had to dig around several drawers just to find the cable to connect this microphone, and it's actually more expensive than the ATR2100X at $70. Now, this is a long-standing USB mic. It is still good, but that mini USB as opposed to USB-C connection I find to be a hassle, and because it's more expensive than the 2100X, I recommend that over the Samson Q2U. Again, good sound. This can do well as a podcast mic or interview style, and it has that XLR connection if you want to use it in an audio interface in the future. And similar to the 2100X, the Samson Q2U is going to pick up more of that room noise and background noise, but you can cut that out in post. But if you're just alone in a room looking for a podcast mic, this is a good option. I still prefer the 2100X over this. All right, next up, this is the Elgato Wave 3. Elgato is known for making great gear for streamers specifically. This is actually a condenser microphone, USB-C on the back with a headphone jack, again, so you can monitor yourself. Pretty interesting interface here on the front. You can actually scroll by clicking this button for the microphone input volume, headphone volume, and the mix. And there is also a capacitive mute button here at the top, and you'll see the button turns red when you tap that mute button. Now, the sound you're hearing right now is from the Elgato Wave 3. Being a condenser microphone, you might get a nicer sound out of it, picking up more clarity and detail, but condensers are typically more sensitive. It's going to pick up more room noise. So if you have an echoey or reverby room, this might not be the microphone for you. Plus, this is USB-C only, no XLR connection, so you can't use it with an audio interface in the future. I do like that capacitive mute button on the top, and if you ever record long stretches or maybe you need to cough or something, having that quick access mute button is really nice. Now, if I turn on that background cafe noise, because this is a condenser, again, you're probably going to hear more of it than the other microphones. And while it does come with this little stand, putting this on your desk farther away from your mouth, especially if there's any kind of room noise or reverb, it's just not going to sound as good as when it's closer. I'll turn off the background noise for a second. It does come with an adapter so you can put it on a mic arm, and I suggest doing that. Again, all of these microphones are going to sound much better closer to your mouth, so put this on an arm if you would like. Now, this does come in a little less than some of the other mics at $138. It's on sale on Amazon right now. Typically, it's $150. Now, for that price, I actually like the Shure MV6 over this one. That was the first mic I covered in this video. But if you like the sound of this condenser microphone, a tabletop mic, it's a good option. Probably not going to make my top 3 in the end, though. Now, let's go to another one of my personal favorites with a custom windscreen on here. This is the Shure MV7 Plus. Has an XLR connection and USB-C, plus that headphone jack to monitor yourself. Doesn't come with a stand, so you'll need to put this on a tabletop stand or a mic arm. But when it comes to audio quality, which the sound you're hearing right now is from the Shure MV7 Plus, this mic is one of the best when it comes to USB mics. Now, this microphone comes in multiple models. There's the MV7, MV7 Plus, and an MV without a USB-C connection. So you have to be careful which one you're getting. I'll put a link in the video description to this one specifically, and I actually did an entire dedicated review video on this mic. You can check that video out above or down in the description. But if you're looking for that next step up, maybe that intermediate to entry pro level, the MV7 Plus is the way to go. Now, the pricing does reflect that as well. It comes in at $300, one of the more expensive microphones I'm reviewing in this video. But as you can probably tell, the sound quality is great. This is a dynamic microphone, which is also going to help with rejecting some of that room and background noise. If I turn on that cafe noise in the background, you might hear that noise a little bit, but this is one of the microphones that's going to do better at rejecting echo, reverb, extraneous noise. So if you're looking for a higher end USB microphone, I think the Shure MV7 Plus is it. Now I'm going to show you some unique microphones you might not have seen before. This first one is a USB-C microphone from Tula. It is super compact, has a tiny stand there, USB-C port on the back. It has some built-in features like local recording and noise reduction. And the sound you're hearing right now is from the Tula microphone. This is a condenser microphone, which means it's pretty sensitive and it's going to pick up a lot of the room noise. So if you're in an echoey room, probably not the mic to get. And if you put this down on a table, like if it's farther away from my mouth, you can see it sounds very different. You're going to want to get this one close. But getting it close also means you're going to pick up more mouth sounds and plosives. That's why I typically put it at a 45 or more degree angle away from my mouth. This way it still focuses on my voice, less room noise, but not as many plosives. If you're looking for a great travel mic and you want to take up the least amount of space as possible, this might be a great option for you. You do pay for that compact nature and quality though. It does come in around $260, so you have to justify if you're going to be using this a lot or traveling a lot. And this is the Tula Mic with that cafe background noise, which it's not going to reject it a lot. It's going to pick up more because it's that small condenser microphone, so it's not great for those kind of loud, noisy background environments. I do like the sound. It's a really cool microphone, but when it comes to overall use and rejecting room noise and things like that, I think this is really for specific use cases, maybe not for most people. Another unique USB microphone you might not have seen before is the Earthworks Icon. Comes with this stand on this ball joint head, which is great. Has USB on the back, but it's micro USB. Not crazy about it. I wish this was USB-C, but it does have a headphone jack and a button on the back to adjust gain and actually mute it. Now this is another microphone that, being a condenser, is very sensitive. It can sound very good when it's close to your mouth and you have a kind recording environment. If I start moving it farther away, like if this was sitting on the desk, it can still sound okay, but again, it'll pick up more room noise and things like that. Turning on that cafe noise, this is what it sounds like to use the Icon in a noisy environment or if there's background noise going on. Again, not going to do a great job at rejecting that noise. The Earthworks Icon is also more expensive, coming in at $300. I'm not sure if I would suggest this for many people. It looks really cool on camera, so if that's priority, then it might do well, but I would want to put this on a microphone arm. You need a kind recording environment, and you might even want to put a windscreen over it, which would not make it look as nice, but cut down on some of those mouth sounds and plosives. And one more mic before we get to our rankings. This is the Maono USB and XLR microphone, so it has both of those connections. Headphone jack here. Comes ready to put it on a mic arm, but no stand in the box, so you'll want to get a mic arm in addition to this. It does have the mute switch here on top, and you can adjust the gain and volume using this knob here. It actually comes with this shock mount, which is nice if you think you're going to be hitting your desk or maybe touching the microphone a lot. And you can see the capsule is set back a little bit to cut down on some of those mouth sounds. Overall, this actually comes in at a more inexpensive USB microphone, has decent sound for the price, and having that shock mount that comes with it is a nice feature. This is a dynamic microphone, so it should do better at rejecting some of that room noise or cafe noise. I have it on in the background right now, so it's focusing on my voice okay, not as sensitive as those condensers, and it is on the inexpensive range, coming in at about $70-something depending on the sale. It actually has a coupon on it as well. Not bad for an inexpensive USB microphone with things like the shock mount, mute switch, and also having the XLR and USB-C connections. Now, before I rank my top 3 best budget, best travel, and best overall, I want you to know all these USB microphones work great with Riverside. Riverside is how I record my video podcasts, and it records high quality video and audio, plus you can live stream with Riverside and edit your content using AI tools, Magic Clips, which will create vertical video from your long form content in seconds. Our Smart Scenes layout will focus on the active speaker throughout your edit, and you can remove filler words and silences and more, all with Riverside's AI tools built in. And when you're choosing your microphones here in Riverside, you'll see they all show up. The ATR2100X, the Rode PodMic, Shure MV6 or 7. All these microphones work great with Riverside, and you can use these USB microphones with your iPad in the Riverside app or the iPhone 15 or 16 with USB-C. I did an entire video using your iPhone or iPad with these kinds of devices to record high quality video podcasts. If you want to see that and learn more, check out this video right up here. And now for the final ranking. I know I already alluded to this before, but the best budget microphone or best value is the Audio-Technica 2100X. For $50, you get USB-C and XLR connections. Great sound. I would get a windscreen like this. These are inexpensive. I'll put a link to them in the video description as well. But if you're looking for the best budget mic, I think this is the way to go. Connectivity and sound-wise, can't beat it. And when it comes to best travel microphone or just for ease of use and simplicity, I really love the Shure MV6. This is one of the newer microphones. Again, no XLR connection, so you don't have that flexibility for audio interfaces, but it has that capacitive mute switch on top, which I really like. Ease of connection, sounds great, and because it's a dynamic microphone with the capsule being pretty far back, it's going to do well reducing those mouth sounds and rejecting that room noise. Now, it's not the most compact, that goes to the Tula, but when it comes to value at $150, I think the Shure MV6 is great. And if you're just looking for an intermediate mic, maybe you have that $50 mic, but you're not ready to go all the way up to hundreds of dollars, this is a great intermediate one to get. For streaming, yes, but I think also for podcasting or even solo content creation, great choice. Now, when it comes to best overall, I'm going to be honest, I'm a little torn. I'm going to go back and forth in this conclusion part, but the Shure MV7 Plus, that's been my personal microphone when traveling. It has a great sound, and even though it's in that $250 range, I think it's worth it. But the Rode PodMic, this is actually my first experience with it, and I really do love the sound. I think it doesn't have as much low end as the MV7 Plus, but it still sounds full, and for clarity, especially if you're doing talking head content or podcasting, I think the PodMic looks and sounds great as well. Plus, it still has the USB-C and XLR connections, and I like that little gain adjustment knob on the back of the microphone as well. So for my number one best overall, even though the MV7 Plus is what I've been using for months and I really love it, I think I'm going to give it to the Rode PodMic. I do really like the sound. Comes in cheaper at $200 instead of $250 or higher, and it's a great mic intermediate, or if you're going to have a multiple microphone setup, you can get the XLR only version of this, pair it with this one if you have multiple people in a room, and you can really expand your setup, saving $50 every time you get another one of these mics. I think it's a great sound, and again, the Rode apps gives you even more flexibility on how you want to shape your sound, and you can use some of those filters like pop rejection, auto leveling, and things like that. So I'm going to give number one right now to the Rode PodMic, but the Shure MV7 Plus is a close second. And again, this is my personal mic, and I'll probably still keep using it. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Which microphone was your favorite overall? Which is your favorite sound? Or which one do you have that you love? I'd love to hear about it. And don't forget to subscribe to the Riverside channel and hit that like button. I have another video coming very soon about the best streaming microphones. I'm going to test how much noise it will reject when you're moving it around or clacking on a keyboard. And again, that's going to be coming very soon. Also, if you want to see all of those live streaming tools in action, where you can live stream to multiple destinations, our OmniChat feature, where you can see all the comments from different platforms in your Riverside studio and show them on screen as lower thirds, check out this video right up here, where I'll show you all those live streaming tools in one place. Thanks for watching. We can't wait to see what you create.